it's you know, a bit like trying to hang wallpaper with one hand, you know. I mean, you've got a lot of things to keep an eye on, which is why you really have to be on top of your game. I mean, you're a musician, you know, you're operating this little musical instrument, telling a story, panning, tilting, keeping an eye on the focus, the exposure, is the audio coming through, is, you know, there are a lot of things that you're keeping track of, and it will seem overwhelming at first, because, you know, it just will, and things will slip by you, and you'll get back and you'll be like, oh, you know, my audio's all screwed up, and I mean, you know, but that's why you're learning.
One of the things about sports that you run into quite often is a sporting event can, especially outdoors, can run through a part of a day where the light constantly changes, and you have to constantly adjust your camera for that light change.
The camera is capable of doing auto white balance and auto exposure and auto focus, but it's not capable of making any of the decisions that need to be made. I mean, in the field, no one uses any of those automatic systems, because they will burn you every time.
Sports can take 3, 4, 5 hours for you to shoot. So once you get to the location and you set your camera, be aware of all the lighting changes, and then start thinking about how you want to cover the game.
So auto exposure is, you can never use. Now that's not to, then you say, well, then how do you set your exposure? You tap it on, you know, tap it, find it, turn it off, pan around, do your thing, everything's, tap it, okay, you know, and so you use, you know, you tap it on for 1 second, let it set itself, get it off, you know, and you have to be, and you know, the same with focus.
I can't emphasize enough how important the nat sound is. The sound in a sporting event, you know, when you know, a baseball being hit by the bat, you know, the sound of the bat, the sound of the crowd going off, the sound of you know, cheers and all that stuff. That's what really adds to it. Why is Sacramento one of the toughest places to play for as a basketball team? Because of the crowd that's so loud, and it's the audio. It's not the number of people there. It's the sound they generate is what's really making it.
Then I'm going to do something like this, where I'm going to say, now, before anybody can access these computers, you have to show a valid driver's license. You know, that's very critical. And sign a release, you know, to make sure that you're not a registered sex offender. Then I'm going to introduce my person. Such and such is here, yeah. And I'll talk to them real quick. With me right now is such and such.
So you can see, just after talking about it, I'm going to move my light, because I'll be shooting in this direction instead. If there's one thing you want, along with duct tape or any kind of tape, the Leatherman. Save you every time. All right, it's 20 to noon. I've turned on my camera, plugged into the cable that we laid. I've got a microphone hooked up. I've got IFB, which enables the reporter to talk to the producers back at the station. I assume it works from this position. I now need to go out to the truck and check to confirm that it actually all works. One thing that becomes frustrating is if some of your technical equipment is not working, it could really send you into a tailspin trying to figure out where the problem is. As you can see, just by punching this up, I've got a picture from my live site inside the building. I don't know if you can hear the IFB. That sound is off air. If I go over to TV, that's presently what's on the air. Eventually our newscast will be on the air, and the producer will be able to talk through our radio to Jaime and discuss how long he needs to be on TV, what he's going to be saying on TV, and hopefully it's approved and we're on without any problem. I check sound. I've got a mixer. Right now, I believe you can hear just the ambient noise. That's a microphone sitting on the table, obviously, and eventually Jaime will be on TV with video, with sound, and with IFB. So I'm talking to my TOC. That is where they're taking my live signal in. I'm just going to power up my truck, make sure they actually like my video signal, my audio signal. They'll check also the IFB, and at that point I'll lock up the truck and head indoors. All right, Fab, it's 11:57 by my watch, 3 minutes before we get on the air, and I think everything is working okay.
Where next?
What you don't hear in our ears is the producer talking to us back at KCAL, telling us that we are next.
Well, when I pick this up, do you need me to walk at you?
With the recent kidnapping and murder of Samantha Runyon, many parents are concerned about their children's safety, and that includes knowing their neighbors. An exhibit at the Orange County Fair this year is helping parents do that. Our Jaime Garza joins us live from Costa Mesa now with more. Jaime?
Mia, this may actually be one of the most popular booths at the Orange County Fair this year. For example, on Sunday, 800 worried parents sat before these screens here and accessed a database searching for any registered sex offenders who may live in their area. Police departments are also saying that a lot more people over the last week or so have been taking advantage of Megan's Law, all because of the Samantha Runyon case. But before you can access any of the information that is on this screen, you need to provide law enforcement with some information as well. First of all, you need to present a valid driver's license and fill out this form. What this does is, number one, it proves that you are not a registered sex offender. Second, you agree that you will not retaliate against anybody that you may see appearing on this screen. With me right now is Darlene Pedanicchio with the Probation Department here in Orange County to walk us through the steps. This is a very simple process for parents.
What you're seeing me go through today is typically what happens in the top 20, top 40 markets. For you wanting to be reporters, what will occur is you may do a little bit of this in the smaller markets, but eventually if you get up to the top 40 markets, you'll have those photographers, engineers doing most of this legwork for you. What's interesting though is knowing what it takes just to get on the air makes it fascinating.
There have been some people who
At any given point, a big breaker could happen, and literally we would just pull up everything we've already done as quick as possible, throw it all back in the truck and go to a different story. And at that moment, the reporter would most likely help because the reporter wants to get to the next breaking story as soon as possible.
Others have found fathers on there.
So this can be a rude awakening for a lot of people, correct?
Yes, it can.
Darlene, thank you very much, and I know you're going to be busy because there are a lot of people who are still waiting to come in here. 3,500 sex offenders, registered sex offenders, are here in Orange County. We want to tell you this is Kids Day, and the District Attorney's Office also has materials here for children in order to help keep them safe as well. We're live this afternoon in Santa Ana. Jaime Garza, KCAL 9 News.